Hi guys, next on the season preview list, we got the LA Chargers. So first, let's start with their coaching staff. First head coach, you brought in Jim Harbaugh. He won the national championship with Michigan last year. So he does come back to the NFL. A lot of college coaches have struggled. He did have some good years for the Niners before he went back to college. So we'll see. He has had some really good years in college. Let's see what happens with him. So then let's go to defense coordinator. Brought in Greg Roman. He he's a decent coordinator, but he didn't have the greatest year with Lamar. His last year's in there. So what they Tarba brought him over from he did work with Tarbaugh's twin brother John. So see what happens there, and he's okay. And defensive coordinator, you got Jesse Minter. He Harbaugh brought him from Michigan. He was their defensive coordinator for the past few years. So he's they've had some pretty good defenses the last few years. Like they've had a lot of NFL talent that made it to onto the NFL or like whoa soon. So yeah, they got it's hard to say. Hopefully, those coaching staff will do good. Like they need a good coaching staff so Herbert can finally have a good team. So that's it for coaching staff. Now I'll go to their depth chart. Quarterback, you got Justin Herbert. He's a top five. He's a top five quarterback in the league. He's really good. He dealt with a few injuries last year. She missed a few games, but then he just still had a good year in only 13 games. He had 3,100 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 7 picks. The team wasn't very good around the Grace around them. So yeah, but he is dealing with an injury right now. So hope it shouldn't be serious, but he will miss some time. And behind them, you got him. He got Easton Stick. He was a fifth round pick in 2019. He's not. He's a okay backup. But he also drafted Max Duggan last year in the seventh round. You're kind of, if you can beat out Sick as your backup quarterback, that would be great. You also got Casey Bauman and Luis Perez. I doubt either of them making the roster, but like, I think Perez has the best chance over Bauman because Bauman just isn't that good. Perez has had some good years in the UFL, so we'll see what happens there. But he also is 30. So yeah, they got a really good quarterback. They got a top five guy. They have a lot of unproven weapons for him because they traded Keenan Allen, they released Mike Williams. Quentin Johnson has been terrible his rookie year. He has not left very good in training camp so far. So you need guys to step up. But so first, next let's go to the running back room. You brought in two guys from the Ravens. You brought in Gus Edwards. He's a big power back. He has had some good years, but like he hasn't had 1,000 yards, but it's also like Mars a dual threat guy, so he takes away some of the running back carries they would get, and they do like to do running back to my committee. But he's a decent, good running back. But they also brought in J.K. Dobbins. He's shown a lot of flashes. He's been decent. Problem is, this last year he played one game before he got season-ending injury. 2022 he had played 8 games before he had a serious injury. In 2021, I think he missed the whole year because of a torn ACL. I can't remember exact. I know he missed the whole injury because season because of injury. I just can't remember exactly what the injury was because it's been a while. But yeah, so he still has a lot of injuries, but when he's healthy, he can be good. Problem is, he never seems to be healthy. Hopefully, this guy's can replace Austin Eckler, who left for Commanders. Eckler did not have a very good year for them last year, so yeah. And then you got Kamani Vidal. He was a sixth round pick, but I don't think he's gonna be your third guy. I feel like Isaiah Spiller should be able to beat him out because he was a first round pick a few years ago, and he did okay when he started. Had to start a few games when Eckler was down, but he only played 9 games, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's just trying depth. And then these other guys are just depth guys that probably won't make the roster. So that's it for the running back room. You don't. It looks like you're going to be doing running back to the committee. Is that they do want to do that. Derek Dobbins goes down with an injury. You don't really have much that can get an argument running back. So we'll see what happens there. I can always bring in somebody that could do better. they could, like, if Dobbins gets injured early and Dalvin Cook isn't signed anywhere, they could try to bring him in. Dalvin Cook is not that good anymore, but he's still okay. So that's good of our receiver room. They have as their number one, they have it listed as Joshua Palmer. He's okay. Like our guy dealt with a lot of injuries last year. Like part of the reason was this team's the team always seems to have a ton of injuries. Like it seems like every year they do. For 11 games, he still had 580 yards. So yeah, he had an okay year, but it sounds like Glad McConkey has had a really, pretty good training camp, and he sounds like he'll probably be your wide receiver one going into the season, which I think you like unless as he should be because like you did draft Justin first round last year, but he's not looked very good. But and you don't really want Palmer as your number one. You want him as your preferably as your number three, but you don't really have a great number two. That could be like Chark can he can be at times, but he has not done as good as it has not been as good as since he had that injury with the Jaguars. His final year there, he's not been that great with the Lions or the Panthers. So we'll see, but he can be a good number two. He just hasn't shown it these past couple of years. Then behind them, we got Clinton Johnson. He had some terrible drops last year, and he has not looked much better in training camp. Like he'll make the roster, like even if he does terrible in camp, just because this is his second year as a first round pick. So they're not going to cut him already, but it's not looking very good. It looks like he's probably going to be a bust. And he was drafted first wide receiver in that draft over Zay Flowers, over Jordan Addison, over Jackson Smith-Njigba hasn't shown much, but at least he hasn't had crazy bad drops like Johnston. So yes, you're there. And he also drafted Darius Davis. He drafted a guy to pair up. He drafted two TCU guys and Duggan and Davis in 23. He's okay. Like he barely played last year. And he might be able to play more just because you did lose Williams and Allen. And Jalen Gay is also gone. He wasn't a huge deal, but he's gone. And you also got Brendan Rice. I'm pretty sure he's Jerry Rice's son. Yep, so he is Jerry Rice's son. So you do got that. He does have that going for him. Like I'm sure, even if he doesn't end up being that good, I'm sure teams will give him chances for a while, just because, like, hey, your dad's a great receiver all the time. Maybe you can learn something from him and get better all these years. But each probably won't be that good. He was a seventh round pick for a reason still. Then we got Sime Fayoko. I don't think he might be practice field guy, but I just feel like they'll go Brendan Rice and just like sweat out over him, unless Rice is just terrible. But like either of those guys would probably be practice squad guys. And then also got Cornelius Johnson, another seventh round pick. But he is at best a practice squad guy. He's a young developmental guy. I don't think he's ready to make a like as roster yet. You also got Jalen Johnson, UDFA. He's not good, very good either. And behind them, you got Jalen Gill and Leon Johnson the third. Those guys are good at all. Those are just like developmental guys. They'll be lucky to make the roster. Maybe a best practice squad guys. So that's it for your wide receiver room. Now let's go to the tight end room. You brought in Will Disley from the Seahawks. He was last offseason. He got it. I think it was last offseason. He got a decent payday, but he was not worth that. He was not a very good wide receiver, receiving tight end. He was a decent blocker, but that's it. There's a reason Zach released him. But behind him, he also brought in Hayden Hurst. He was a former first round pick, but he's not very good. Like he has not done much at all, like with the Ravens or the Falcons, like in all his career. So okay, backup. And behind him, you got Delmar Parham. He's a great red zone threat. Like seems like he always has a ton of touchdowns in the red zone. But like outside the red zone, he doesn't do much. So we'll see what happens there. Hey, it's the same birthday as me. But yeah, he's more of just red zone threat guy. Even then, he's not the greatest at that. And also behind him, you got Stone Smarth. It's gonna be really tough for him to make the roster. But he might be practice squad guy, but it's gonna be tough just to beat out these three guys. I don't think Sparks that good. So that's if your weapons. You got a lot of unproven weapons that are young that could be good, but you don't know for sure. And yeah, and then you got some injury prone guys as well. So now, so to your offensive line, your best guy player is Rashawn Slater. He's been pretty good for them. Like he's been really good. He needs he needs a new contract as well. He does still have 2 years left, but he still is eligible for a new contract extension. So we'll see what happens there. But he's pretty good. He still has a couple injuries though, but it's not a ton. And you also got Foster Sorrell. He is not good at all. Like, uh, yeah, but he don't really have much backup tackles. He might make the roster unless Tyler McMillan is not very good either. He's a practice guy at best. I doubt even that. That's if you're left tackle now. Let's just go to your top five pick in this last draft and Joe Alt. He's from drafted out of Notre Dame. Should be really good. He has some learning curves just because he's a rookie. Even top 10 to 5 picks at offensive lineman do tend to struggle. It's just a big jump from college to NFL. But we'll see. He should be really good. Okay, yeah. And then we got another former first round pick in Alex Underwood. He's a bust. There's a reason why he has struggled to stick around on rosters. Like he's only on the Raiders. The team drafted him first in the first round for one little over 1 year, and he stayed stuck around with the Bears for like a year, maybe a little longer. But he did not do much there. He did terrible there as well. So he's okay. Backup. They can play both tackles if needed. Then let's go to your interior. You're you brought in Bradley Bozeman from formerly of the Ravens. I don't think he spent last year with the Ravens. So let's see. Yeah, it was with the Panthers. Let's say, but still, he is a fine center. Like another guy that was with other Harbaugh. So that's probably part of the reason they brought him in. And he also got another former first round pick in Zion Johnson. You got a lot of former first round picks on this offensive line. But Johnson has not been that good yet so far. Hopefully, his third year, he just needs a next year development, and he could be better. He's not shown much so far. Then you got Trey Pickens at third. He is not good. You don't want him starting. But you also got Jameer Sawyer. He didn't really play much last year, but like his rookie year, he had some tackle injuries, so he did have to play, and he did fine. So we'll see. And Georgia tends to produce some good defensive linemen, so but he should get better. You don't want him starting over Pickens because Sawyer could get better. You know what he got in Pickens at this point. Then we had them at guards. You got Jordan McFadden, young, well-mental guy. You're not expecting much from him yet. Same thing with Brendan James. You're not expecting much. You're not expecting much better out of him. Those guys behind him, behind them guys is Carson Barnart, Brett Lang, and Willis Patrick. None of those guys are good. Some of young developmental guys. That's really it. Don't want them making the roster yet. Probably, well, maybe practice my guys, but probably not. And then you also got Bucky Williams. He's another not very good guy. So yeah, your offensive line should get better because you got all and you got Zion Johnson. Zion Johnson, you should be better with your development. And then, but he also got a guy, and he brought in Bozeman to replace Carl Lindsey, who was dealt with a lot of injuries, who's now retired. And then, but you hope Sawyer can beat out Pickens. Pickens isn't very good. That's if their offense. They got a lot of young talent. Just can they be yet? It's just tough because they don't have much to find out. They just have some recent draft picks. They tight ends just not going to be that good. But then you got drafted Joel. Hopefully, he'll be a good rookie. He's still John Jackson in his third year. He should get better. Also, Rashawn Slater. You brought in Bozeman. You'll see because like Herbert has not had very good, never had a good offensive line in front of him, so hopefully they can get better at that. That's it for your offense. Now let's go to your defense. See, they have Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack listed as linebackers, but those are your main two edge rushers. Let's still talk about your technically edge rushers. So you got Jorgen Fox. He's okay, but like as your third pass rusher, that's perfectly fine. You also got Puna Ford. He's not that good. He's not very good either. Yeah, like he's decent. He's okay depth. But then you got Otito Ajigbana going to his third year now. Still right, but as your number one defensive tackle, nose tackle is not very good, but it's not the hugest deal. This guy Justin Okoji, he's okay. He's a young developmental guy. So you got Jared Clark and Scott Matlack. They're not very good. It's only tough to make the roster just with some of the outside linebacker depth they got. Jared Clark, young developmental guy. JJ Koe, he's not going to make the roster. Michael Mason, he's okay. He's bad depth though. I already mentioned Judge Okoji. So now let's go to your outside linebacker who play mostly edge. You got Joey Bosa, who is really good when healthy. Problem is, he's not usually that healthy. Like last year, he missed 8 games. Previous year, missed 12. Like, yeah, he's missed a lot of games. He's dealt a lot of injuries, but when he can be healthy, he's pretty good. Then opposite of him, you also got Khalil Mack. He's another form. Really, he's not as good as he used to be, but he's still. We had a good year last year, but it's like he probably is not bound to decline a little bit because he is 33, so he's getting up there. He's had some really good years. Behind them, you got Tuipulotu. He showed some flashes last year as a rookie. He did fine when Bosa went down, but so hopefully now year development is what he needs because you don't need it. You probably don't need him next year because I doubt Barter keeping both Bosa and Mac for another year. Like they had to restructure both of their contracts to keep them this year, so we'll see there. Also got Bud Dupree. He is he's fine. He's okay, but he's like not that great, and he's just been terrible since he left Pittsburgh. I doubt he's gonna be. And yeah, then you also got Andrew Farmer the second and Chris Rump the second. Chris Rump, as like I said, those guys make the roster. It's probably gonna be Rump. He's better than Farmer. And then you also got. I not to mention those next two guys that are backup outside linebackers. None of those guys are good. They're not gonna make the roster. So yeah, but those are your main two at like pass rushers. So like that makes up for guys like Fox and Ford potentially have to be out there. So yeah, now let's go to your middle linebackers. You got Dayon Henley. He's going into his second year. So hoping he can be fine. But he barely played last year. So it's tough to say because they did have Eric Hendricks last year, but they released him. But he did bring in Denzel Perryman. He's been good. He's been good. Like, well, I should say they brought him back because they originally drafted him. He hasn't played for them since 2020. He spent the last year at Texans, previous year with the Raiders. He had some good years with the Raiders. He had a decent year at the Texans. So yeah, that's good. But you also have Nick Neiman. He's okay. He's not that good. He's just depth. Then you also brought in Troy Dye from the Vikings. He's more of a special teamer. He's not really like a starting like a guy at linebacker should be playing, but he's a good special teamer. And then you brought in a Michigan guy in Junior Colson. So hopefully, I feel like they'll probably keep Jai just because of special teams, but you hope Colson can be on the depth chart over Die, even potentially even Neiman because he's not that great either. Shanley's he's a depth UDFA. He's not looking at this roster. He has a good Jeremiah Jean Vespetti. He's okay. not that good. He's terrible. But he's not the biggest roster, hopefully. This real linebacker group, you got two good outside linebackers that can stay healthy. You're okay at middle linebacker, you're not the greatest. So that's really your secondary. You have Asante Samuel Jr. Asante Samuel Jr. Senior son. He's had some good years at Chargers. He's like a decent sized contract. It shouldn't be the huge bid. It should be a good sized contract. He did it last year. He's been good for them. I think in the play, I think in the playoffs against Jaguars, he had a couple picks. Yeah, he had 3 picks against the Jaguars in 22. So yeah, but then opposite of him at corner, you brought in Kristen Fulton from the Titans. He's also dealt with some injuries, but he's been okay. But you don't. At least he's our number one corner, but as your number two, that's not great either. Your side guy, you got Jasir Taylor. He could also play some safety. It's not a draft pick, but he's okay. But and so now we also back at corner, you also got Chris Wilcox, Deanne Leonard, and Robert Kennedy. None of those guys are very good, but probably most of them are like the roster because they don't really have much behind them either, unless they bring in somebody else. Because they also got Tarheeb Still and Matt Hankins. Those guys aren't very good. We also have Cam Hart, fifth round pick in this past draft. You should be way up. You should be higher up this depth chart, so he should be fine. Like you hope he makes this roster of some of those for Wilcox, Leonard, or Kennedy. We'll see what happens there. Murray Walton, I know they talk about him. He's not good. So let's go safety. At strong safety, you got one of the top strong safeties in the league. He's really good in Derwin James Jr. He's really good. So yeah, and opposite him on free safety, you got Aloy Gilman. He's okay. He hasn't had a ton of opportunities to start because I think this last season was his like first opportunity as your main starter because he had other safeties. He's okay. Behind him, if Gilman does struggle, you do have GT Woods, a recent third round pick. You have recent third round pick in 22, going into his third year. So I hope he could potentially beat out Gilman. Maybe you can put him at some corner. You got AJ Finley. He's not that good. You do a young developmental guy. But he also brought in a vet safety, Tony Jefferson. He has had some decent years, but he's not that good anymore. He is 32. He'll be 33 by the end of the season. Yeah, he's if you don't want to start at this point. Then you also got another really talk about Thomas Harper. You got Keem Dent, another wasn't drafted, but he's still relatively young. He's fine. And Jalen Phillips, he's an RUDFA, just made it best practice quick guy. Him and Dent are among them, so will be practice quick guy probably. It's just who will be it. As for secondary, you got two good players in Samuel. You got a good player in Samuel. You got a great player in James. But outside of that, you don't have much. So that's it for your secondary and your defense. Now let's go to your special teams. Yeah, Cameron Dicker, he had some long kicks last year, but yeah, he didn't do much. Like, so yeah, he made 7 of his 9 attempts from 50 plus. He had a 55-yard field goal. He had a good year, a decent year for last year for Dicker. So then you also got J.K. Scott. So okay, punter. He has some decent years with the Packers years ago, but he hasn't done much since left. And then returners, you got Darius Davis. Darius Davis, he's okay. He's a fine returner. He's probably going to be the main reason he makes this roster because he is kind of far down this depth chart. So, yeah, and then you also got Josh Harris line snapper. Cares there. That's it for your depth chart. Next, let's go to your schedule. So this, there we go. Week one, you got a game you should be able to win. Chart Raiders. You should be able to beat the Panthers. I know this is Steelers. Lost against the Chiefs, but that should be a really good game. Feels like Justin Herbert self is still playing. Should be playing this week early. It seems like Herbert and Mahomes always have really good matchups when they play each other. Then you should be able to beat the Broncos. Might tough to say with the Cardinals. We might lose. Finalists to the Saints. You should finalists to the Browns. Titans will be a tough one. I think it's 50-50. Lose to the Bengals and the Ravens. These are really good. And hey, we got the Harbaugh matchup. But I still think the Ravens are gonna win. You're gonna lose the Falcons. Get swept by the Chiefs. That's just the games are gonna be really good. Probably lose to the Bucks. You should. I think for the series, the Broncos. I think you're gonna be able to. I think you could sleep the Raiders, but it's gonna be tough. You should be able to beat the Patriots, but it's gonna be tough late in the year. So may probably be starting soon. Brissett just go off and have a really good year. We'll see what happens there. They have some tough teaching schedule. They have to face the Chiefs twice. They have to face the whole AFC North. Those are some really good teams. And yeah, but outside that, they don't have a super tough schedule. It's hard to say how the Falcons can do it. Buccaneers didn't make the pass last year, but we'll see what happens with this year. Yeah, that's it for the Chargers. Thanks for watching, you guys. Hope you have a good rest of your day.